Okay, good morning everyone. I hope everyone is fine today in the morning. Uh, Today, I suppose we're gonna discuss about the Somali issue, because uh, we're gonna discuss about the Somali political process and the challenges ahead. Okay, and this is the way we have to put it things very clearly, because Somalis have to get their country peaceful. 20 years of war, we can imagine 2 good decades. They really need stability. I think it's high time Somalia has to get peace, and the civilians of Somalia have to move back to the country to invest in their state rather than making profits and money and expenditures in a foreign nation. As the end of the Somali federal transition government draws nearer to the roadmap for ending the transition in Somalia has set in motion numerous strategies to ensure the survival of the country. The key issues for the success of the roadmap include the adoption of a new constitution, parliamentary reforms, peace building, reconciliation, and stability of the country, and good governance in fact. In September 2011, the roadmap was agreed upon by various signatories, including the transition of federal institution, the Puntland region state, the Galmudug administration, and also the elements of Ahlu wa Sunnah wa Jama'ah. The delegates attending the United Nations BAFT meeting on ending Somalia's transitional period endorsed a roadmap that spells out priority measures to be implemented before the current governance arrangement winds up in August 2012, as spelled out in the Kampala Code of 2011. To make things clear now, as per now as we are speaking, Somalia have a speaker, a national speaker who was elected around 8 days ago. So what they're now trying to vie for is the presidential elections and trying to prepare for the parliamentary elections. The latest reports say that the version that for someone to vie for a presidential post, the amount that has to be paid to be charged for such kind of a post is that particular individual or politician has to grant for like around 10,000 US dollars to make the voting systems and the electoral board system more sufficient, so that try to define more security rather than having a small vote counting process whereby rigging and also the misconduction of ballot papers can occur at all cost. Okay, now that's what we were saying. Now with the BBC interview where we had with the Honorable Constitutional Affair Implementation Minister called Mr. Jibril Hosh Abdurrahman, what he stated was that the only way we can have an impact on the ground in effectively dealing with the critical issues in Somalia is for the agencies to move to Mogadishu, which is now safe, instead of consulting, planning and executing Somali programs from Nairobi. The TFG minister also went ahead and stated that the relationship between the TFG and the international donor community, as well as the United Nations agencies, have not been of empowerment, but that of disempowerment. Now, under his speech, the United States Special Representative for Somalia, that's now the Ambassador James Swan, stated that the USA is trying to improve the humanitarian crisis, improving security conditions, and advancing political reforms agreed by the Somalis. Under the roadmap for ending the transition, humanitarian support is currently estimated to cost more than 750 million US dollars in the Horn of Africa, including approximately 150 million US dollars in humanitarian assistance for Somalia. His version, supported by Mr. Manhal. Now, Mr. Manhal is the United Nations Secretary General, Deputy Special Representative for Somalia, whereby he stated that in order to defeat Al-Shabaab, there is need to have parallel military political and reconciliation strategies. He also went ahead to explain that the army summoned the TFD security forces, capturing new territory in Somalia, have brought new opportunities to unite various stakeholders. There is need that Somali stakeholders have to have a common vision for the country. He recalls that this will require the willingness to complete the implementation for the roadmap, such as adopting a new constitution, initiating a new political era in which organizing and fair elections is the key responsibility of the leadership. All political players have to accept the rules of the game. We need a critical mass of collective work for the political forces effectively sideline the spoilers. He also went ahead to say that I believe that Somali leadership is committed to implement the roadmap, delivering security for Somali's population is essential to improving the prospects for peace, reconstruction and development. Someone also went ahead to comment on this version who was actually attending the TFD meeting was the British ambassador to Somalia, Mr. Matt Bog, as most of you have heard about him, or some of you came across him in an interview. So Matt Bog said that the British government is really supporting Somalia and it's providing around $700 million spent, and that means that they don't know how the funds have been spent since there have never been any progress on the ground. But they believe that the implementation of the constitutional affair by the minister, Host Jibril, and also the fundings from the other United Nations agencies will boost the country's economy and will try to bring in stability to Somalia. That's what was his words. Uh, he also went ahead to say that the Kenya's offensive against Al-Shabaab offers both opportunity and risk in the fight against terror. I was speaking in his press conference in Mogadishu today, where he stated that opportunity in terms of enhancing military pressure on Al-Shabaab and enlisting other players in the battle against the militia. But he also carries a huge risk if the military offensive is prolonged and that the political process does not work. Now that's what he is fearing. We might see the return of violence and the warlords in the southern Somalia, he stated. The donor community does not know how or where the TFG receives funding from, but also how they spend that money. Reporting for BBC Network Africa, I'm Osman Ali in Nairobi, Kenya.